Hey guys, Doc from 7th Hour Films back again with Merlin. Last time on Merlin, we had The Sword and the Stone Part 1, which had jack all to do with The Sword and the Stone, but Morgana and Agravain and Helios led their assault on Camelot, which led to Arthur finding out about Agravain's betrayal, and they had to escape Camelot. Merlin had to put Arthur under a spell to take away his free will so that he could get Arthur out of Camelot. And then he had to pass off as a simpleton, and which worked without the free will, which was really dumb. They met some smugglers. One of them got hurt. They went to Merlin's house, Merlin's hometown, met up with Gwen. Agravain showed up. They ran into the woods, and that was the end. Literally had jack all to do with the Sword and the Stone. But I assume this episode we're getting the Sword and the Stone. So yeah. This is the finale. Isn't that pretty crazy? We're only going to have one season left after this. Man, how time has flown. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Like always, if you want to watch my reaction, you're going to have to go down in the description or to the pinned comment. Click on that link, and that will take you over to the reaction. You can watch it like normal, and when you're done with that, you can pop right back over here to the discussion. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this episode of Merlin. Here we go. Alrighty, folks. That was the end of Season 4. This was an interesting finale, to say the least. So, still, 4 seasons on, and we still have not outed Merlin as a sorcerer. And at this point, I think they're not going to do it until the end of the series. I think it's going to be the Season 5 finale when they finally do that. For an episode called The Sword and the Stone, The Sword and the Stone didn't play a huge role in this episode. Now, I like this episode. I do like this episode. But it's a little odd. It's a little odd. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's good, but it kind of repeats some of the things from the past 2 finales. And then there are some things that were set up, but aren't exactly followed through with. And it didn't... Because again, you know, it's never set up in pretty much the entire season that we are leading towards the Sword and the Stone. It's never set up like that. The only thing we have is last season, when last season ended, with Merlin putting the sword in the stone. So, there's no build-up almost whatsoever. Last episode, it's basically a spoiler that last episode was called The Sword and the Stone Part 1. Like, this episode still kind of has jack all to do with the Sword and the Stone. And then other things that have been set up don't fully follow through. And here's one issue. Is that this season still relied on Morgana to be the villain. And from what I'm gathering from this, Morgana seems to be our end-all villain. But the problem is that now we've had 2 failures by Morgana. Season 3, and now Season 4. So next season, the final season of the show, obviously she is going to lose. And I don't know, I feel like, okay, last season, she got an army, she got Senred's army, she had Morgause as well, they had an immortal army, they failed. This season, she gets a new army, they failed. Is she just gonna go get another army? This finale, even though overall I do like it, this finale has some issues. And it has issues with the fact that it's not the series finale. It has issues with the fact that it's not the series finale. And it's not The Empire Strikes Back. Because that's probably what should have happened. Is this finale should have been The Empire Strikes Back for Morgana. Because Season 1 we had Nimue, Season 2 we had the dragon, and now it's okay, Morgana is our end-all villain. Seasons 3, 4, and 5 are all Morgana. Great. What are you doing with that? Not a lot. Here's what you need to do. Season 3 needs to be A New Hope. They end up winning in the end. They defeat her immortal army. And then we move on into Season 4. Season 4, which has set up Morgana winning. She won twice. She won when Uther died, and she won when Gwen was banished. And those were very major victories. I honestly think this should have been The Empire Strikes Back. You've established Morgana can win. She is smart. And when she wins, she wins. This should have been The Empire Strikes Back. Morgana Strikes Back, Where at the end, even if Arthur gets the Sword and the Stone, or maybe you save that for later, either way, this should have been a victory for Morgana. And then Season 5 should be, making a comeback, the counterattack until the finale when it is Arthur and Merlin versus Morgana. That's what it should be, And you could almost say it starts with that. You could almost say it starts with that, I almost feel like The Sword and the Stone needed to be the mid-season of Season 5. Now, granted, this is without any knowledge of what Season 5 will be. Season 5 might be amazing, but I feel like the beginning of this episode, or, last episode, with all of them escaping Camelot, that should have been the episode, where Morgana comes in and wins. Morgana comes in, wins, and then season 5, the first half of season 5 should be, them trying to survive, and Arthur, feeling that he shouldn't be the king. Mid-season, you get the Sword and the Stone to prove to him that he can be the king, that he is the rightful king of Camelot. And then the finale, the latter half of season 5, being the counterattack on Morgana, eventually resulting in defeating her once and for all, probably killing her, and then Arthur taking the throne once and for all. I feel like they've rushed it, because they put all of that into the season 4 finale, to where it really downplays the importance of the Sword and the Stone. For an episode that's called The Sword and the Stone Part 2. They really downplay the importance of the Sword and the Stone. But again, did I like this? Yes. Do I think this could have been a whole lot better? Yes. Am I still excited for what Season 5 is going to bring? Yes, I am. I'm very curious as to what Season 5 is going to bring. I don't know. I really don't know now. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe they will do something creative. Now, something, by the way, I just thought I want to check, because I think we are to that point. Well, I mean, this isn't going to be entirely accurate. There we are. Nope. Now, this is the original. Okay. That's the original, so I guess I shouldn't take it like that. Can I just... Is that just gonna... Oh, no. That takes me here. Okay. One sec. Well, no, I guess that doesn't work. Shit. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to look something up. Something a bit important. Having to type on a virtual keyboard over there, because I don't have a keyboard right here. Alright, where is... Yep, okay. I was curious. So, we have passed 1 year of Merlin videos. I wanted to make sure and check that, but yeah. The first episode, originally, I posted it on July 26, 2019. I'm currently recording this on July 29th. So, it's 3 days later for me, but yes. It has been a year of Merlin reactions, which is pretty crazy. So I wanted to check that. We've been going for so long. I just wanted to check that. But yes. I'm still excited to see what Season 5 is going to bring. But I feel like there was a lot of potential with this plot line that could have been in the finale or in the final season. So, that said, let's go ahead and talk about this episode, because again, I do still like this episode. So the first thing I wrote down is the dragon. I did like that, how the dragon came in and attacked Agravain's forces. I mean, that has to be just terrifying, you know? When they're on the hunt for Arthur, suddenly a dragon pops out of nowhere, you know? So I like that. And, you know, because it's not, you know, Merlin trying to abuse his, you know, or it's not Merlin, like, abusing his power as a dragon lord or anything. You know, like, no. The dragon, it was happy to help for, you know, Albion's future and stuff. So that was really cool. I like that. We had Merlin versus Agravain, which is interesting. And that was, you know, it was pretty cool with him, you know, actually learning that, Merlin is a sorcerer. So I really did like that. And yeah, Merlin straight up killed him. Like, very... It was really dark, actually. You know? It was really dark, actually. That, yeah, he just launched him into a rock and then just kind of looked. And then just left, like, whoo, jeez. You know, because, I mean, granted, since season 1... Merlin has killed people, you know, with his classic blow-up spell, but this was a very realistic, kind of brutal death, and yeah, he just straight up killed him. Now again, this does sort of present a problem for the episode, because there is nothing, you don't get anything between Agravain and Arthur, and that's wrong. That is wrong, that there is nothing, like, how much more emotional would it have been if, instead of Arthur versus Helios, what the hell's, I can't look at a cast on this, apparently, that's different, but, like, what if at the end, when Arthur is fighting Helios, it was Agravain, and Arthur had to kill his uncle, you know? And then, you know, like, how emotional that would be with Agravain being like, yeah, it's because of you that my sister is dead. And, you know, Arthur having to face that. Like, you know how emotional that would be. But, no. No, he died to Merlin. So, that sucks. Like, that's a huge missed opportunity, I feel like. Granted, they sort of make up for that because there is an actual confrontation between Arthur and Morgana, which I only just realized, you know, in this episode, they haven't had that since the ending of season 3, you know? Because it was the end of it was the season 3 finale that Arthur learned about Morgana's betrayal. And then all the way to now, he has not had a confrontation with her. So I did like that just sort of quiet moment between the two of them. You know, it's like, I thought we were friends. You know, it's like, yeah, that was such a good moment between the two of them. So, at least there was that. You know, at least they did have that. But yes, I do wish they had a moment between Arthur and Agravain. Like, I would have loved to have seen a fight between Arthur and Agravain ending in Arthur killing him. Let's see. I wrote down, this doesn't change anything, Haas. Because, yeah, even though, yeah, Arthur saying it was a moment of weakness at Ealdor. So, nah. I mean, I didn't know. Like, I was kind of expecting that maybe Gwen would be, you know, unbanished, but they would still need to work on their relationship, and then slowly they would get back together and then get married. This is it's not a bad alternative, honestly. Like, this is not like one of those, like, oh, it's a missed opportunity. It's like, no, because I feel like they could still do it, honestly. Like, you know, like, yeah, oh, they've gotten married, you know, they realize their true feelings and stuff. They still could have some shit to work through, though, you know? So, So I do like that, at least. Like, even though, yes, you could have extended that, you didn't need to. This is one moment where I'm like, okay, yeah, that does really work, where he does accept her back. And we've had that progression through the episodes as well, because we had that in, the Hunter's Heart and everything, and also with a bit in Herald of the New Age. So, like, we have had that progression to where it's like, okay, I can buy, the two of them getting back together now. So, I'm fine with that. The Sword and the Stone. Okay, so this is weird. This is kind of weird, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. So, Merlin decides that the way to get Arthur to get his fighting spirit back is to show him that he is truly the king of the people. He's the people's king, And to do that, he takes him to the Sword and the Stone. Okay, interesting. Now we never established, how... We never really established how Merlin, put the sword in there. He put the sword into the stone and then he sealed it with magic. But do we really know? I'm trying to think. I feel like the dragon had a conversation about that. I don't know. Did he seal it specifically so that someone like Arthur would be able to take it out? I'm not sure. But so Merlin then makes up a story. He makes up a story about the first king of Camelot who put the sword in the stone so that, a true king of Camelot would, so that a true king of Camelot would be able to pull it from the stone and he would unite the lands of Albion. Merlin completely makes up this story, and Arthur knows it. Arthur knows that he's making the story up, But it still works. It does give Arthur his fighting spirit back, but then, when Arthur is he's trying to get the sword out, and, Merlin says, you have to believe, And, he was really struggling, and then he stopped, he cleared his head, and then with one hand was able to pull it out. Okay, that still works, that's very good. But also, while he's doing that, and he's got all his self-confidence and stuff back, Merlin basically, undoes the spell so that the sword will come out. And I don't fully know how I feel about that. I don't really know how I feel about that. The fact that this whole story behind the Sword and the Stone is a lie, and that it wasn't Arthur's, spirit, his worthiness that pulled the sword from the stone. It was Merlin undoing the spell. That said, Arthur is a worthy king. If that really was how it worked, then Arthur would have pulled it from the stone. And now, because he knows he is worthy, he believes in himself again. He's gotten his fighting spirit back. He has the mystical sword in the stone, the mystical sword Excalibur, and now he can face Morgana. So I don't know. I might need you guys to chime in on this one. I don't know how to feel about this one. It's not bad. This version isn't bad. It's not the classic version, It's not the story that Merlin tells, It's not the story that Merlin tells. But I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I guess I like it, but I don't know. It's a bit of a tough one, you know? Because of the fact that Merlin made up the entire story. It was him who put the sword in the stone. It was him who put the sword in the stone. And it was him that undid the spell so that Arthur could pull it out. Or is it not that, but Arthur was pulling it out and Merlin helped? Maybe it's that, specifically. I don't know. It's a weird sort of situation. On the one hand, it is good. On the other hand, it's a bit odd. So, I don't know. I will be very curious about what you guys think about this one. Like, what's the consensus on The Sword and the Stone? Because this one, I mean, even just the episode in general, this one's kind of a weird one, you know? Like, it's one of those things, I guess, like the episode itself, it's not bad, but it's kind of odd, you know? It's like, on the one hand, you know, it's not exactly, like, you would just expect it to be, you know, lifting Thor's hammer, you know, only Arthur is worthy. But this is still Excalibur, which Uther has used, and Merlin has used. And now, so it doesn't exactly work like Mjolnir. It doesn't work like Thor's hammer, or the Master Sword, or something like that in Zelda. But it still gets the point across. I don't know. I do not know. Y'all are gonna have to... We're gonna have to talk about that in the comments, I feel like. So, yeah. Still a great scene. I don't know. Then we had the finale, the final battle. I was kind of hoping that... Okay, so they kind of... Again, another weird thing. Merlin just goes and takes Morgana's magic away. Like, shit, you gonna do that this whole time? Why haven't you been doing that this whole time? You know? Like, you could have done this whole time. You're only doing it now. Like, I thought, you know, and it's like, oh, well, you know, Morgana, how can we beat her? I thought, okay, well, this can go one of two ways. Either Merlin will reveal himself as a sorcerer and he will face Morgana with Arthur. Or, the other option that I thought of is, what if Excalibur, because it is a magical sword, you know, what if, and it can, you know, kill the undead and everything, what if the sword is immune to her magic? You know? Like, what if Excalibur can combat her magic? That would be cool. And then you could get a fight between Arthur and Morgana. I thought that'd be really cool. But instead, Merlin just takes her powers away. Which is just something he could do this whole time. This whole time, he could have done that. Hell, could he have just used that all along? Like, when she started developing powers, could he have just taken it away? I don't know. It's, again, I don't know. This, okay. I think this is just gonna be the thing of this episode, these two episodes. This was a very weird finale. Like, very, very weird. We also lost, girl, I don't remember her name, but, you know, we almost lost her last episode, and then she got better, and then she died again, saving Arthur. And it's like, come on, man. So that's kind of infuriating that she ended up dying. Again, a bit of a missed opportunity. This one I can let slide, though, that I thought Merlin was going to use his magic to heal her, and that's how he comes out as a sorcerer. If you haven't noticed, I'm waiting for Merlin to be outed as a sorcerer. It has to happen at some point, right? What if it never is? But it has to be. It has to be. Now, granted, there is something else that's been lingering in the back of my mind for a while now. Is next season the final season? Or is it just the last season? And there is a difference. Did they plan on season 5 being the final season? Or did it just never get renewed? That is my big question going into season 5. I don't want you guys to tell me. I want to find out on my own, which means finding out in the series finale. But that is something I've been curious about for a while. So I don't know. So maybe if they didn't plan on it being the end of the series, the end of the show, he may not be outed. I don't know. So yeah, again, just kind of weird. We got the crowning of Queen Guinevere. I'm glad for that. That's the one part where I'm like, no, this still makes sense. You know, we did have build up from, you know, going off of the affair, and then in episode 10 when, you know, Arthur was, you know, still thinking about it and wondering if he made the right decision, and then episode 11 heavily had that, you know. And then now we have this, like, it did work, and it wasn't an immediate, like, oh, I'm, you know, finally, I'm seeing you again, and oh, everything's fine now. It's like, he did still take a little bit before he finally, you know, accepted her back, and then they got married. So that's the one part where I'm like, no, this does still work out. You didn't need to extend this anymore. So I'm glad for that. And then at the end, yeah, Aethusa revived Morgana and then just flew away. Thanks a lot. She was just about to bleed out, but no, the little baby blue eyes white dragon had to come in and save the day. Thanks. So obviously Morgana is still going to be our villain next season. You know, she's our final villain, and this was a weird finale. Missed opportunities, I feel like. Missed opportunities. This could have been extended into season 5. Everything revolving around the Sword and the Stone was weird, and it was barely in this two-parter that is specifically called The Sword in the Stone. Part 1 and Part 2. This one's weird. This is a very weird pair of episodes. A very strange finale. Is it good? Yeah, but it's very weird. So I'll be curious to hear what you guys think of these episodes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next time, we start the final season. So, yeah. So, with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time for Season 5. See you guys there. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Merlin reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.